Hello, everybody, and welcome to our coverage of the final quarterfinals of the Premodern Fall Brawl Top 8. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined today by Aaron Dix. How's it going, Aaron?
Going well. Good to see you.
All right, we have a matchup between the Mono Blue Stiflenought, which is kind of a recurring theme for this top 8. We had three Mono Blue Stiflenought players.
Yep.
It's up against Hermit FEB, so the Hermit Full English Breakfast. So a combination of two combo decks and something that Mike Harris has been tuning and working on for a while. So he has broken through with the quarterfinals here, and we get to see this deck in action.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting some fast combos for both players, and things could be over in a blink of an eye. Is really I think where we're at. But
Well, I think we could end up seeing some of the control elements in Stiflenought shine as well. This list from Chris. I shouldn't say from Chris. It's kind of becoming the standard for the mono blue. I mean, it's strong. Chris and I met in the Swiss, or in the pods, and he fought it out with me on Stasis, and he was winning counterspell battles. So.
All right, I'm going to bring up some stuff about the players, and then we'll be able to talk more specifically about the decks and then the matchup.
Sure.
All right, so first up we have Christopher Budesheim. He's from Darmstadt, Germany. He finished as the second seed with a 7-1 record. He's playing the Mono Blue Stiflenought, as we talked about. We asked him what his favored and unfavored matchups and he felt that the deck's pretty well rounded. That the counter spells allow it to kind of fight anything. There's not anything you're really unhappy to see, and so it has a well-rounded deck against most things. He did say that if it's going to struggle, fast combo is what it struggles the most against. He noted Null Rod and Cursed Totem as the sideboard MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about a little bit about his thoughts on his deck, if I can get the slide going. Okay, here we go. Why did you choose the deck? He said Mono Blue is his opinion the best version of the Dreadnought deck, and he loves the Stasis playstyle with lots of alternative costs. So the Gushes, the Dazes, the Foils, Misdirection or whatnot. So all of those cards being able to play even when you're tapped out make it pretty powerful. He said that Intuition needs to go and Alexa's Cloak would go in. Make that shrimp invisible. I don't know if it's just like a thing between, but like a lot of them have referred to the Phyrexian Dreadnought as a big shrimp. So
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing that, but I mean, it makes sense given the art. And so that's what he's referring to when he says make that shrimp invisible.
Yep.
Exciting moments. He said he had some 15-minute matches and then also a 2-hour match against you, Aaron.
Yeah.
So that one was a marathon.
It was.
And outside of Magic, he plays competitive badminton and does weight training at home. He has his own home gym, he said.
Yep.
And why people should root for him, he said he's the top 8 only has 2 European/Germans, so he wanted to represent the European players. So all the people in EU, it's getting late, but I'm sure still a little bit of time to cheer on Chris. So let's see if we can hear you in chat. Next up, we have Mike Harris. So here we go. His slide. So he's from Wayne, I think, New Jersey, and finished 7-1. He's the 7th seed. He's playing the Hermit Full English Breakfast combo deck, and so it's favored against decks with little interaction. So if your opponent isn't doing much, you're probably doing something more powerful and able to win. Struggles with decks with lots of removal or control or super fast aggro. And then he said his sideboard MVP was Swords to Plowshares. That one I can see coming in this matchup.
Absolutely.
And then for his slide, he said Johannes Kemmler originally brewed this list, and he's been refining it since the Spring Fling, and he's very happy with the current version. Though he would like to try Aura Shards in the sideboard if he were to make any changes. For exciting moments, he said a Cataclysm had resolved, and the opponent had a really big Terravor, but he got a Psychatog that had a lot of food in the graveyard and was able to eat all the lands in his graveyard, which ended up being able to kill the Terravor. So
that's pretty great.
Favorite hobbies outside of Magic: the Song of Ice and Fire. A fanatic of that. He likes movies and histories. He's a history buff. He said he used to draw, paint, and make music in his free time, but since he's had kids, he just doesn't have as much time. So I can understand that. That makes sense. and why people should root for you. He said he's playing the spiciest deck. I will note in Mike's defense is I think he filled this out before the deck list became public, and Kyle's deck was not revealed, so I feel like that one might take the cake. But yeah, definitely a spicy full English breakfast Hermit Druid deck is pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, I'm ready to look at the decks, and we can talk a little bit about what we have at hand for these players. The first deck I have is Mike Harris's Hermit Full English Breakfast. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. It's kind of like the two combination of decks in terms of the Full English Breakfast comes from Survival of the Fittest, Volrath, Shapeshifter, and an old attack used to be with Achroma and Phage, and most of them now go for the Phyrexian Devourer and Triskelion combo to kill them outside of combat. And then the other item is the Hermit Druid, which, since there's no basic lands in the deck, an activation of Hermit Druid will put all your lands and your entire deck into the graveyard. And that gives you access to a singleton copy of Corrosion Reclamation, which can shuffle some cards back in. And you can, typically, you can get back, if you get back Unearthed, then you're able to get back a Volrath Shapeshifter, or Shallow Grave can give the creature haste. I'm not actually sure what the standard like kill is with the Hermit Druid. Are you familiar with this list, or like how it typically plays out, or like which combo you lean towards more?
I'm not familiar. I have not seen Mike play this yet, but I mean, you have a lot of options that seem pretty good there. With Psychatog, you'll have so many cards in your graveyard at that point. You've got, you know, the whole angle once the Hermit comes down. It feels like you've got some different things you could be doing.
And one important thing to note is when Hermit Druid gets activated, because all the cards go in the graveyard at the same time, you're able to
order them. Yeah.
Order them as you choose, which is really important for cards like for a Shapeshifter, Shallow Grave.
Absolutely.
And so you're able to kind of pick how things want. And so I'm sure there's a very particular order that Mike's used to having everything that allows you to do different things. If you're exiling cards like with Psychatog, that can change the creature type or whatnot. So I'm kind of excited to see this deck in action because it's one I'm not as familiar with.
Same.
The Mono Blue Stiflenought is one we're coming to become very familiar with. A lot of the cards are very similar. It seems like there's a few flex slots, and there's an Intuition, a Misdirection, a Boomerang, and I actually don't know what that card on the bottom is next to the Dreadnought. That singleton copy. But what this deck is trying to do is cast a Phyrexian Dreadnought and then combo it with Stifle or Vision Charm so that the Dreadnought stays around, and you get a 12/12 Trampler. The rest of the blue cards include a lot of counter magic and card draw. Chad has said Reality Ripple. I thought there was a different art for Reality Ripple.
I don't.
But we'll figure it out. So
it's something Rupture.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to actually look at the. So this deck is lean and mean and very powerful, and it does a very good job of getting aggressive if you could just play a turn 2 Dreadnought, but then also does a very good job of protecting it even when tapped out. So, all right, let's jump down to the match. If you want to let our players know that we can begin.
Absolutely.
We have Chris on the left with the Mono Blue Stiflenought list, and then Mike is on the right with the Hermit Full English Breakfast.
All right.
If you had to take a guess, do you know, like, would you want to be on one side or the other? I think I might just want to be on the Mono Blue Stiflenought just because I know more what's going on. But
yeah, for me, I think I'd want to be on the Mono Blue Stiflenought just because, I don't have the brain power to play the deck that Mike is playing.
Yeah, I have played full English, like just a traditional full English breakfast, and it was one of the decks that has been the most intimidating for me. Like typically, I'm familiar enough with most of the archetypes that I can pick them up and know what's going on, but I felt like I would just play the full English breakfast deck, and I just would walk away every time feeling like I made so many mistakes, and it was kind of a frustrating feeling.
The decision trees are incredible in that deck.
Yeah. But that's one of the things is I guess it's rewarding if you play the deck more and you get good at those. that it's less stressful, and then you just get to find situations that you're able to win that most players wouldn't.
Exactly.
So Mike is going to start with a Birds of Paradise off a Yavimaya Coast.
Kind of one of your favorite starts with that deck. It's got to be.
Christopher is going to be casting a second Portent, still targeting himself. We're talking about Mike keeping track of life total. He did make a note. So one on Mike, I think he's in his backup play area. I think his kids were moving around and he wanted to be in a place that was a little bit quieter. But he had also noted that I am sometimes worried about life totals if it's not on there, so he wanted to make sure that it was visible. I do like the black Crayola marker or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Now, I wonder if it's his art supplies or his kids' art supplies that we're seeing.
I'm guessing his children, but I don't know.
I mean, he's an artist himself. Who knows?
I mean, I'm not judging, but if it is, I'm guessing he has a different set of markers. But
probably. All right. Okay, there's the survival with a mana up. Playing around some of the counter spells there. Do we see a foil?
And that would be something that I think I like.
Yeah, we do.
I would be interested in foiling this. Yeah, you lose a lot of cards, but survival is a very big linchpin in this strategy. So
this is the thing that's so good about this Dreadnought deck. But now 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, so if Christopher is able to resolve the Dreadnought, and then he might not be able to protect it because he has so few resources. So he might have to wait if he's afraid of. I guess most of the time it's probably not he's worried about it getting destroyed. It's probably more about literally dying from Mike's deck. So
I'm a little, I don't know what's in Mike's hand, obviously, but I'm a little surprised that we didn't wait to see some discard potentially. It didn't seem like he was playing from the strongest position, not knowing anything in his hand there. Against the deck with just so many counter spells.
Yeah.
Then again, you're playing around, everything but a card that is just the 1/4 of, you either have it or you don't sometimes, right? Run it out and see.
Yeah, it's something that I'm hesitant to run out before I've seen information. I'm too defensive of a player sometimes, but yeah, it's a skill that you need to balance. So
I think sometimes you play the odds, and there was one potential answer there, and it was there.
all right, we got a Gush out of Christopher, and so
main phase Gush, 2 floating mana.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets to utilize that mana or if it just goes to waste. The one nice thing about the Dreadnought decks is they don't really need a lot of mana to operate, because one, their combo is just 2 cards with 2 mana, and then a lot of their interaction can be used alternate costs like Daze and Gush and Foil, so can operate on a very low land count. So you'd be able to use Gush a little bit more aggressively than most decks.
He's gonna run out a second combo here.
The Hermit Druid comes into play. So
with 1 island on the board and already 1 foil in the yard, it resolves. Oh boy. Now, if you're Mike, how do you combo off here with that 2 blue mana up?
Yeah, so
I mean, I guess he's got Cabal Therapy. He can start flashing back Cabal Therapy as well. He puts the whole library in the graveyard, flashes back some Cabal Therapies.
The one thing that would change is if he's relying on the graveyard order that would put a creature on top, and I don't know if that would cause issues. I guess I'm not sure how. Like, I'll have to wait and see. Like, I don't know if he's able to utilize the full Cabal therapies, but
Interesting.
or if there is a way around it. We have Robin in the chat saying that he cannot flashback a bunch of them.
Well, I mean, he can certainly not a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still haven't.
And it will be interesting because I don't know it'll come up, but like if Mike's ever going for an activation of Hermit Druid, so that would put his entire library in the graveyard. So that relies on Corrosion Reclamation, and if that gets countered, then it's just kind of lights out. But then also, even if it resolves, and Chris has a card like Vision Charm, you can use the mode to mill 4 cards, and I don't think there's much that Mike could do to prevent that. So
it's true.
It's kind of risky using the Hermit Druid activations in this matchup.
Okay, here we go. Oh no, he's just getting in there, or are we seeing it go off? What are you doing, Mike?
I think he took a damage. So, well, maybe he took the damage earlier, but well, I guess with Corrosion Reclamation, like if he's doing it during his turn, he doesn't need the draw step. So like, he's still able to activate Hermit Druid, but I guess, yeah, and with this much mana, it's not like he needs to.
I'm just trying to figure out why the Druid is tapped right now. Nope, we're seeing it.
Okay. So we see Mike. He's basically reordering his graveyard because all of the deck will be put into the graveyard at the same time, so he gets to choose the order. Chad had asked, will this be a best of 3 or best of 5? This will be a best of 5. The players have agreed to play a best of 5. So. All right, so I'm trying to see the graveyard order. See Psychatog on top.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder how much of these piles like change from time to time depending on the matchup, or if it becomes a very consistent thing. It looks like there's a little bit of decisions that Mike has to make, so maybe it does change depending on the matchup.
So he can. I think he's looking at it right now. He keeps eyeing those Cabal therapies.
Because he's worried about. I mean, like blue's up. There's counter spells in.
Right. Exactly.
Christopher's deck, so. Yeah, I'm just kind of gonna sit back here and just let Mike do the work and not try and get too involved and predict what's gonna happen. So.
See, this is why Mike plays this deck and I don't. Also, while he's doing this, I'll just take a second to say it's really hard to root against either of these two guys. These are two of the nicest guys in Premodern.
Okay, I'm not as familiar with Christopher, but I think a lot of us probably know Mike from either like the pre-modcast or just playing him because he's been playing for so long. So,
well, Chris and I got to hang out quite a bit in Germany. He was.
Well, he had a city listed as Darmstadt, so like,
yeah.
So he was local. Did he give you a tour? Did he tell you all the best places to go to?
No. Well, we had a chat about restaurants. Also, he was there for the. I forget if it was Thursday or Friday night. We did the draft of Martin's Cube, and he won it with an absolutely ridiculous deck. We kind of chatted in between rounds on the day of. Just a good guy, really, really sharp, really, really great to talk to about the format. And then Mike, obviously everybody knows, just a super good dude.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Mike's still making some decisions here.
I bet.
I think part of it could be like saying like, okay, if something goes wrong,
Right.
then how do I best set myself up to take advantage of like of plan B? Maybe that's part of it. I'm not sure. But well, I see a shapeshifter on top and I don't know what's below that.
Yeah. How do you set up a couple of therapies, a shapeshifter, and a
Well,
psychatog?
if you are able to get like a shapeshifter in play right away, and then you have a Psychatog on top, you can like eat a bunch of the lands, and
Right.
then you can make it into a chroma and have it have haste, and it would still get like the plus the power from the Psychatog, right? I don't know if that's the normal way to do it, or if there's a different line that he usually tries.
Interesting. Yep. Start ripping that hand apart.
The problem though is that puts the Hermit Druid on the top, and if he's getting the shapeshifter back into play, it would be a Hermit Druid.
Okay.
All right, so he will flashback a Cabal Therapy. Are you naming Counterspell here? I don't know.
Oh yeah. With 2 blue up, I think you name Counterspell.
I'm waiting to
I
see
also
it.
have no idea what's in his hand, which matters so much here.
Yeah, I mean, so Unearth is probably the one I'm like think Unearth or Shallow Grave is probably the one I'm thinking one of those. So we're seeing it, the Cabal
Oh
Therapy
my
resolve,
word.
and we have 2 Stifle, a Vision Charm, a Foil, and a Gush.
So,
So if a Foil is staying in there,
oof.
that is problematic. There's no Counterspell, the actual card, but like the foil is able here,
Yeah.
and there's still like Gush that could.
Well, I mean, like you brought up, the vision charm's a huge problem here as well. So now you've got.
Well, I mean it depends on what Mike's trying to do. I don't think Mike was looking to like pass the turn and get a draw step. I think if it was
No.
perfect, then the Vision Charm wouldn't matter as much. But yeah. So but having the foil there, assuming that it wasn't named, might be hard for Mike, because then the backup plan would be, okay, I will use Corrosion Reclamation on the next turn, and Christopher does have the Vision Charm ready, so
Yeah. So taps the bird, sacks the bird. He'll take the foil here. And now Chris still has that Gush, which is just such a problem.
mm-hmm. There isn't any of his libraries left because the Hermit Druid, there are no basics, so every time he activates Hermit Druid, if the ability resolves, it will mill the entire deck.
Okay.
All right, so foil gets cast.
Oh my. All right. So he gets it out of the hand one way or the other. But there's still mana up.
I'm trying to think, like, what is the? Shouldn't you just let the Cabal Therapy resolve? Because if he doesn't take foil, then you're able to foil like a different spell. He obviously can't take island, so I feel like Mike has to name foil.
Okay,
I don't know.
so here we go. Float 2 blue, Gush. Yeah.
So Mike is casting a Corrosion Reclamation.
Yep.
Okay. The problem here is the Reclamation is not very good against Vision Charm. I guess if was that something that Christopher was worried about, that like if he let the Cabal Therapy resolve that he was going to name Vision Charm, but you could just foil the flashback. I don't know.
Okay.
For those unearths, I didn't see which cards he put back.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the real question is what's in his hand?
2 unearths. Yep. So
Yeah, he's
yep.
gonna Vision Charm him.
Yeah, I don't see what Mike does here.
Yeah,
Well,
there were just too many answers.
yeah.
I mean, that's the mono blue Stiflenought list, is too many answers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so the Vision Charm resolves on the mode of mill the top 4 cards of target player's
Yep.
library.
Yeah, there it is.
And Mike's gonna die because he
Yep.
would draw with an empty library. So game 1 goes to the Stiflenought. With the controlling element, it's able to defeat what Mike was trying to do.
It is kind of a deck that can beat itself. It's incredibly powerful. I mean, we're seeing, I could have gone off with either 2 combos. You countered one, I landed the second. But then how many answers did you have? Oh, all of them? Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the deck's like good about playing around some disruption, but the amount that Christopher had presented, it was just too much. So,
Well, and specifically varied disruption as well.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like chat is questioning the timing of Mike's activation of the Hermit Druid, and I don't have enough experience with the deck to give a reasoning of why. I'm not sure.
I'm just letting them know they can do game 2 whenever, and we'll need a brief pause after.
Yep. I mean, usually their sideboarding takes enough time that
Right.
we're able to talk enough when they're doing it. So, all right. I mean, like I'm trying to think what Mike needs to do differently in that game is wait to draw more Cabal therapies, maybe, or not. Like I guess anytime he's activating the Hermit Druid, things like seem kind of dangerous because it's like basically he has to go, like he has to win or resolve a Corrosion Reclamation, otherwise he's going to die to his own deck. So
Right. Well, I think he was on the right track. Just, the redundancy of the double combo plan meant he could get the first one countered, playing into the second one that he thought would be a little bit stronger against the control deck, where he could flash back a couple Cabal therapies. I mean, it feels right, but that was 2 foils, a couple of gushes, the Vision Charm. Like there were so many answers there. Do you think you would have tried to resolve the FEB portion of it or the Hermit portion of it?
Well, I think you have to be aware that if you're activating Hermit, that you can't rely on getting another turn.
Right.
Like, at least not reliably, because if just one Vision Charm just throws off so much, or a Counterspell, like if you could counter the Corrosion Reclamation. So if I am activating the Hermit Druid, I want to be able to have enough disruption to play around at least one piece of counter magic. I mean, maybe there's certain spots where you just can't afford the time to get like two, but
Right.
I don't know. And I'm trying to think the amount of disruption that Mike had, and it has to be like pre-activation, I think, of the Hermit Druid, right? Like, because I don't know if there's a way for him to activate the Hermit Druid and then try and disrupt Christopher, because I think the putting cards on top, whether it's an actual Cabal Therapy being cast or a creature getting sacrificed, would change the graveyard order, and I think that makes it difficult for Mike.
Okay, right off the bat, Cabal Therapy this time? Oh, no. He's going straight for the Druid. He had the Elvish Spirit Guides straight into the Druid.
Okay.
All right.
So with activations, if he's using this, I mean, next turn. Yeah, so let's say Mike untaps and has 2 mana.
Yep.
One, he could activate the Hermit Druid, put his entire deck.
Oh my.
Hermit Druid hasn't even resolved. All right.
Nope.
Turn 0 foil for Christopher. So yeah.
Okay.
I would say if that was in play, then he'd be able to. If he does have like an Unearth in play, then he doesn't need a draw step. I think so.
All right.
Birds of Paradise, a little less scary than a turn 1 Hermit Druid. So
I mean, run it out there. That's one foil down.
yeah, you got to get him out of your hand somehow.
Right. Oh boy.
Quick Dreadnought from Christopher. So not only did he have the foil in terms of protection, but he's got the pressure with the Dreadnought. And I think I would use Stifle over, well, probably. I guess, yeah, because are there other applications of Stifle? I guess you could Stifle Survival of the Fittest activation. But in general, Vision Charm's a little bit better at protecting a Dreadnought. So Vision Charm was used.
Yeah, Birds Go doesn't feel like the spot he wants to be in. But more mana is good.
Let me take away 12 life points of Mike. Yeah. So he's at 7. So
7.
He's gonna have to do something, and it's got to be pretty impressive, pretty quick. Nope.
Nope. Scoop from Mike.
So Mike Harris finds himself down 0-2 pretty quickly. Now we do get to go to sideboard, so I guess we get to investigate to see if maybe there are some options for the sideboard. So let's jump over to those. First deck up I have is Christopher's, the mono blue Stiflenought list. I see some Boomerang, Hydroblast, Will Elemental Blast, Null Rods, Cursed Totems, Winter Orbs. Let me get the full text list so I can. I'll just let them know. They're asking if they should pause. Let's just sideboard and start when ready. Okay. So let me pull up a list for Chris. What are you thinking that he should sideboard in or out?
I mean, Totem feels strong.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially Annul too against the survival.
Yeah, so I got his full text list. So 3 Annul, 1 blue Elemental Blast, 1 Boomerang, 2 Cursed Totem, 3 Hydroblast, 2 Null Rod, 1 Powder Keg, and 2 Winter Orb.
Yeah.
So I could see even a card like Powder Keg coming in, but Cursed Totem seems really good. Even Boomerang uh, probably is pretty good
Yeah.
if Mike is going for like the Psychatog Chroma kill, but it's not as good against like the survival of the fittest. Discard a Phyrexian Devourer, get a Volrath Shapeshifter,
Devourer.
Triskelion. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one is not as good.
Devourer Trike. Yeah.
All right. So a few changes, but like some pretty heavy hitters from Christopher. Like the Cursed Totem does a lot of slowing. Like yeah, because it's really good against Hermit Druid, obviously, and then even like a Volrath Shapeshifter, I feel like all of the cards that it wants to be in play is because of the ability. Other than maybe like a Chroma or activated abilities. Like a Chroma is like the only one that you really would be fine with a Cursed Totem in play.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mike's sideboard, we have a Ray of Revelation, 2 Swords of Plowshares, 3 Enlightened Tutors, 2 Engineered Plagues, a Seal of Cleansing, Solitary Confinement, and a Squee, Oromancer, Crater Hellion, Uktabi Orangutan, and Gorilla Shaman. So I think Swords of Plowshares, a Seal of Cleansing, Uktabi Orangutan, those cards look good.
Yeah, I don't know if I love anything else here.
Yeah, what cards do you think you take out? Do you take out cards like Elvish Spirit Guide that are just like you trying to be super aggressive? If you think the games are a little longer, maybe I don't know what else you cut.
That's the part that kills me here. I just don't know the deck well enough to know what comes out here.
Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, I'm not sure either. So it'll be interesting to see if the sideboard games change the dynamic for Mike, or if he's pretty much on the same game plan.
I think a couple of swords are absolute musts, but I don't know how to make them happen.
All right, I'll jump back down to the play screen. I guess we will award another game win to Christopher and then reset the life totals. So an uphill battle for Mike Harris. The Stiflenought list has been pretty consistent against it. We have a raid from Punishing Waterfalls. So thank you for the raid. We appreciate it. Those who are just stepping in, we are in our third game of our best of 5 for the quarterfinals of the Premodern Fall Brawl top 8. Christopher is playing Mono Blue Stiflenought. He's up 2 games against Mike Harris's combo Hermit Full English Breakfast list. So the first game, Mike had made an effort to combo out, and Christopher had put up some resistance, and then Mike was not able to finish him off and actually died because he had an empty library. And then the second game, an early foil put away Mike Harris's Hermit Druid, and then a quick Phyrexian Dreadnought plus a Vision Charm allowed the 12-12 to stay in play and take down Mike. So.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so the players know that they can start. Yeah, I mean, I have I don't know the full power of Mike Harris's deck. I won't pretend that I do, but it seems like it's gonna be difficult for him to win 3 straight back-to-back games. I think like Chris's deck is powerful enough and has enough disruption that at some point he's gonna kind of slip up. So it's I think problematic for Mike here. All the big shrimp fans are probably cheering, so I guess we could look at that instead.
Ooh, another mulligan here. I'm not sure if that's 2 or 3 from Mike so far.
Okay. I mean, I would think his deck mulligans fairly well, but it's more of when he is relying on the Hermit Druid plan, which is a little bit. I'm more hesitant to go for that. That seems more vulnerable. Like if you things kind of fail, you're just kind of dead in the water.
Right.
Because you just don't have many cards in your library. If he's going for like the survival of the fittest shapeshifter, then that one's a little bit safer. That if you die, but that combo, I guess, maybe doesn't necessarily need that many more cards in your hand. You just need a survival and a creature to get things going.
Yeah. Who do you think got the best deal here after sideboarding?
I think. I mean,
it's got to be the Cursed Totems, right?
Yeah, that card's like it's just so much more problematic for Mike to answer. Like, it, like if that comes down, like and also like Chris's deck is probably set up to like face Swords to Plowshares. Like it's a very commonly played card. Like I'm not saying it's bad against what Christopher's trying to do, but like he has counter magic to prevent it from happening, or he can kind of pick a spot like when he wants to play the Dreadnought. But if Cursed Totem just comes down on turn 2, like I'm not even sure what cards Mike has in his deck to kind of deal with it. It's so yeah. I think on that front, I think Chris definitely has an edge.
Yep.
This is another mulligan for Mike.
Ooh. Yeah, so that's 3 mulligans.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah. 3 mulligans and a must win.
Slay J said at least he gets to go to bed early. Yeah, these games have been quick and it doesn't look like this last game's. I mean, maybe I'm getting too far ahead of myself, but this is. I think Mike almost has a tough time like with a full hand, and here like mulliganing this much is really problematic.
Yeah. When Chris gets to keep a full 7. A full 7 with a deck that has so much free counter magic just feels like a bad place to be in a combo deck.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we're going to keep this one.
Yeah, but now you just have to decide. It's so painful when you put this many cards on the bottom. You're like, it's like if I only had to like put 1 on the bottom, it wouldn't be that hard. But when I have to put 3 or whatever, then it's tough.
Yeah.
All right, cards go to the bottom.
Yep.
We'll see if Mike can do it with a limited amount of resources here. I don't know if they're asking if all right, we've got a game 3. And Birds of Paradise is where we're starting.
Come on, double therapy survival. Oh no, missed a land drop.
Yeah. So how quick will the Dreadnought come down? That's.
I feel like you're good either way. You just get to threaten those 2 blue mana to a deck like Mike is just as threatening as a Stiflenought at this point.
Enlightened Tutor is going to put Survival Fitness on top, which is a little bit awkward given how much you mulligan that you're already like spending a card to put on top.
Yeah, down another card.
Also, if you're Chris and you have a Vision Charm, it might be something you use the mill for. I don't know. I guess it depends on the rest of your hand or how worried you are about Survival of the Fittest, but All right, we got survival on top, and
Okay, does not get vision charmed.
all right.
Chris picks up his hand ominously.
Wall of Roots is the play.
Okay.
Okay. Christopher does have a impulse at the end of turn, or maybe this is in response to the, probably in response to the Wall of Roots. This might be a card you would Daze. I don't know. All right, so the Wall of Roots resolves, and now Christopher has another turn. Plays an island. Is he going to start putting on the pressure? Got a Cursed Totem. Oh, man.
That feels bad.
Well, that gets two of the cards that are right there. I mean, basically turning them into... I guess they could be sacrificed to Cabal Therapy. Wall of Roots can block. Doesn't block well against the 12.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't seem great.
No.
Oh, pass turn.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal for Mike, so I think, like...
Yeah.
I mean, Christopher, he has a ton of time now that... there's just not that many things I think he really has to worry about, and he has enough permission that he can just protect this Curse Totem, and I'm not sure. I guess survival into Shapeshifter into a Chroma is like the biggest worry. That's the only thing I can think of. That'd be the game plan for Mike.
I mean, but he's just got all the time in the world to sculpt a handful of counter magic
Yep.
to deal with anything.
Yeah.
This is probably close to worst case scenario. You've missed land drops. Your opponent is up to 4 islands. He's played 2 impulses. He's keeping mana open. He has a bunch of free counter spells. He's like, it's just, all of your creatures are turned off.
Yeah.
It's like Hermit FEB nightmare.
Yeah, the hard thing is it's almost like hard to see like the path that Mike would have to take to win, and so that's just a hopeless feeling when you're like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do here. So I guess if he has Uktabi Orangutan, like Survival of the Fittest, in theory, could just get that, and that's a triggered ability, not an activated ability. So maybe that would be a starting point. We've got a survival cast.
Yeah, Annul. I mean, that's
okay.
Yeah, that doesn't feel great. I mean, it could have been literally any counter spell at that point. He could have hard cast a thwart or hard cast a foil. I mean,
yeah. Also a thwart, but yeah. What happened there? I saw a vision charm, but
I think he just discarded for hand size.
Really? Has Christopher drawn that many cards?
I think he's just camped out letting things happen. And we're going to gush here.
Okay.
Mike is slowly putting together lands, though.
Really the only thing I feel like he can do. I mean, I guess draw a bunch of survivals is probably the next best, or probably a better option, but I guess if he has Cabal Therapies in the mix of there, that might make it much more likely for the survival to resolve. So
At least it gives his creature something to do.
yes. All right.
Yeah.
Christopher's trying to figure out. Okay, these are the cards I'm keeping because that leaves that these cards are getting discarded.
Discarding a
Cursed
Cursed
Totem.
Totem.
Okay. All right, doesn't need this one.
Handful of counter magic. I don't need the redundancy. I'll just protect this one.
I guess the silver lining for Mike is that there's no Dreadnought right here. I don't know. But...
I think Chris is happy to wait.
Okay, this is a creature that can attack. A 3-mana 2/2.
Oh man.
Well, now there's a clock, and Christopher just has to act, right?
Oh, come on.
It gets countered? Okay.
He counterspells the Elvish Spirit Guide.
All right. I guess when you got everything under control in every other aspect, just counter the 2/2.
I mean, if I'm Mike, I feel like I'm perfectly happy with that.
We have another Gush.
Wow. What is Chris looking for here?
I mean, I thought maybe... Okay.
Oh, okay.
Got the Dreadnought plus the Vision Charm. I could see from the last turn that maybe he didn't want to commit the Dreadnought because he would only have 1 mana available afterwards. Right. And if he didn't have a foil, then like, oh, I might lose to like a card like Utabi Orangutan or something. And you might as well just wait a turn so that you have like Counterspell up. That's probably what... I can see him waiting in that kind of spot.
2 blue up and a full grip. Dreadnought phased out.
There is Utabi Orangutan, so the Dreadnought's phased out, so this has got to target the Cursed Totem.
It's
but it's not going to resolve.
That'll catch a quick counterspell.
Yeah. All right, Dreadnought phases back in.
Yep.
Is Mike
down to 5 here?
I guess he's contemplating blocking. I don't know.
I mean, I think you only block if you're worried about taking too much damage from your lands, right? Because it's win next turn or go home.
Sure. No, it's not like the Wall of Roots really does much more than block at this point since the Cursed Totem's in play. So, but I don't think the life total. Yeah, you'd have to take a lot of damage.
I don't know how you get there.
Yeah. I guess it would start by like Swords to Plowshares on this Dreadnought, and it has to resolve. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's what Mike needed to do. I don't have a lot of confidence that this sword is going to resolve, but
no, not with that much card draw from the other side of the table. Yeah.
Yeah, we see a misdirection.
Misdirect.
Do you
oh, come on.
Do you get rid of the wall or do you get rid of the Bird's Paradise? Matter. That's the real question.
Just too much. Just too darn much.
All right, well, I'll jump over to the players. I'll unmute them and we can listen in to their opinions on the match.
Hello, hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, that was quick and brutal.
Hang on, I still haven't unmuted them.
Yeah, wow. but it was in like the first game was so intense.
Sure.
Yeah, so that did not go according to plan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little overwhelmed by everything on your deck going around. Like, what is the, let's say, can you explain, like, if there's no disruption, what's the easy way to win? And then kind of like, how do you fit things in to try and play around certain things? Like, what adjustments do you make? Because I did not do a good job of explaining like what you need to do to win.
You mean me, right?
No, yeah. Dreadnought plus Stifle.
how
That
do
was
you
too
do
hard.
L12 Trampler win?
Yeah.
Yes. No. Mike, do it.
Yeah, no. So basically, the Hermit win so in that situation, things got really weird. That's why I had to sit and wait for a while, because number one, I knew he had a ton of like counters and stuff. Also, Stifle is incredibly great against that win con. He just stifles the Karmic Guide trigger. But in that situation, it was also extra weird because I had the Shallow Grave in hand, not the Unearth, and the Karmic Guide in hand, none of which are ideal situations. But my thinking was I bait him by looking like I'm going to win to get him to play it, and then I resolve the Crozen Reclamation, and then I really win on the next turn.
Yeah, that was good thinking. Very good thinking.
Yeah, it was good thinking, except that you had Vision Charm.
Yeah. You need to remove like 3 cards in my hand before anything
Exactly, and I only have
anything
2
like this
creatures.
will resolve.
Yeah, we were talking about that at the time. You just had every answer, and they were varied answers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was nothing that could
Exactly.
just Cabal Therapy get 2 of them.
Exactly. He had all the answers, and my line was so weird. I think honestly though, in that situation, I maybe should have waited a turn to hope to draw another land and had the ability to hard cast the Karmic Guide.
Okay.
But you know,
But that's easy counterable as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everything's counterable, but if you counter it, now it's on top.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, then you can. Yeah, right.
But the problem is, I still need to have Unearth as opposed to Shallow Grave, because even though it's on top, if I Shallow Grave the Karmic Guide and bring it in, then I still don't have the situation. Well, no, I think I did stack
So
my deck
complex.
so that would work. Oh no, Shallow Grave would have been on top after that. So that's the problem with thinking through these lines. Every time you like think you figured out how you can manage it, then you realize, oh nope, that's not on top anymore.
So how does the Karmic Guide like play in the normal loop of the combo?
Okay, so normally when the loop goes off, you want the Karmic Guide on top, and I think I took it. No, I left the Karmic Guide in. So I went the full transformational sideboard, but I'll get to that later. Normally you have the Karmic Guide on top. You unearth the Shapeshifter, Karmic Guide triggers, you bring the Psychatog into play, you sack the Psychatog to a Cabal Therapy, and now Psychatog is on top, and the Shapeshifter is copying it. You give it all the pumps from removing most of your graveyard, and then you leave a Chroma on top. And then you now have all the pumps from the Psychatog on top of
The
a
hasty
Chroma
Chroma.
copied, hasty, trampling, flying creature.
Okay.
Mike, let me tell you, we thought about it in like before the match, and there are so many lines in your deck. This isn't a line we even thought about. It's so this deck has like 20 things at the same time. It's incredible.
Yeah. And so I actually went for the full transformational board. I intended to only bring in the swords, the seal, the Octavi orangutan, and not take out the hermits, assuming that I had won one of the first 2 games. But then when I lost the first 2, I was like, all right, backs against the wall. The hermit combo is just so disruptible for your deck.
Yes.
That I figured it wasn't worth it to even try it again.
I want you to activate your Hermit.
Yes.
That's like, yeah.
Yeah, good. So you agree it was right to transform.
I
completely.
really agree. I expected that you put it out. Yes.
So, Mike, chat was asking about in game 1 that you led with Survival of the Fittest and then followed up with a Hermit Druid, and I think the survival got countered. Was there a reason that you ordered it that way and not try to bait out the counterspell with the Hermit Druid and then try and resolve the survival?
So I really thought about that for a while, as I was looking at my opening hand, and my thinking was the Hermit Druid win being faster, and the hope being that he uses his counter on the survival. Then I have the Hermit Druid, and I can just like, if I've got his one answer out of the way, then I'm good. I guess that probably wasn't the right move.
But
but
the first thing of your plan did work. I countered your survival.
yeah, the first part did work. But correct me if I'm wrong, you would have been able to counter if I had done it the other way around, you would have been able to counter the survival as well. Because you had 2 foils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I was just playing a waiting game. I was waiting for you to dismantle yourself because, like, I don't need my Dreadnought turn 2. Like in the second game, it was good because I knew you didn't have much resources because of an unlucky mulligan, and I knew, okay, I can play it. I have some alternate counters in my hand, but in the first game, it's just, even if I have the combo in my hand, I don't need to play it. I just need to wait to let you do something. And then I just, like, if somehow the game is over anyway. Like, if you activate your Hermit, the game is over in one way or another.
Yeah.
So I can just wait.
Yeah. It the more I thought about this match and I watched all the other quarters,
Yep.
I was just like, man, he's gonna smoke me. Like, the deck just has so many answers, and like, the full English breakfast side can definitely do a better job, but this is certainly a case where my deck is way worse than a traditional full English breakfast, because you really want those intuition for Cabal therapies. You want the extra Mesmeric Fiends. Mine is more kind of built to handle the decks that don't have a ton of answers, a way to kind of go under and be faster than any other kind of combo or aggro, that sort of thing. But in this situation, it's just so much worse. It's like how I said in the form you had us fill out, Mike. Like, what do I have trouble with? Cards with a lot of, or decks with a lot of interaction, control type things, and really fast aggro. And this does both.
Yeah, kind of all. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but like the survival. My plan was, if you have a survival, I will do anything to let it not resolve. And if you play the Hermit, then it's game on. Then we have a turn. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But the survival, there was no. I would never have, like, I would even throw away my Dreadnought just to resolve a foil for your survival.
Can we also talk about the fact that my game 3, I drew a 1-lander followed by 2 no-landers? It was just like, well.
It felt so inevitable watching you continue to mulligan there. It was really, I know the sinking feeling.
At least I wasn't at Eurochamps when it happened. Winning in.
Yeah, well, I was in game 3. I felt very confident because of this one.
And when he landed that Cursed Totem, I was just like, because I actually had a pretty good 4-card hand. Because I had the swords. I debated. So the last card to put away was kind of a debate. I had Treva's Ruins, and it was that or the birds to put away. and I kind of figured I keep the bird in
Yeah.
because he's not going to really deal with a bird and screw me over. Oh, then Cursed Totem comes down and deals with the
And he
bird.
does.
And
Yeah, Cursed
like,
Totem felt real bad.
Mhm.
yeah, it's. Are you able to do anything when the Cursed Totem is on the ground?
So I actually won a game that I wish had been streamed during the Swiss against Peter Smits on Terrageddon, and he had both an engineered plague naming Phyrexian, so I couldn't put the Shapeshifter into play.
Devourer,
Wow.
right?
Or Phyrexian Devourer.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
right.
That's hard.
On top of that, he had a Cursed Totem out. And I ended up winning by hard casting a Karmic Guide to resurrect an Acroma and get in that way. And then, funnily enough, he swords the Acroma, and the Karmic Guide went the distance.
Wow.
Oh no.
So
Okay.
sometimes weird things happen. Sometimes
Yeah.
a hard cast Elvish Spirit Guide will get there.
No, I need it countered. I had to counter it.
I told him that's actually a Cabal therapy naming Counterspell.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
The rest, because I had a second counter spell in hand at that time.
Damn it.
Of course
Sorry,
you did.
the third game was the only game I really felt comfortable because I had everything in my hand. I had like at one time I gushed and had a 10 card hand, and every of these cards were very good.
Yeah,
And
we saw you discard another Cursed Totem.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
don't need another
"Oh."
Cursed Totem because there was like foil, misdirect, counterspell, an impulse, another gush. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I think I can put it to rest now.
Yeah. Actually, that makes me wonder, why'd you leave the misdirection in? I mean, obviously it was great there.
Because
But Swords
misdirection.
is like the only card that it affects.
No. Unearth.
True.
Frozen Reclamation. I can target me instead of you.
Mm-hmm.
Cabal Therapy, and
Right.
Seal of Cleansing. If you have an.
I can't affect Seal of Cleansing.
No, Seal of Cleansing. No. That was another list. Sorry, but these 3 cards.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have a counter for your Frozen Reclamation, I can misdirect it to myself, and then you can't draw anything.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so it's not bad.
I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to do that.
Thankfully, I took it out.
Yeah. No, but misdirection. I talked with Sven before, who is my next opponent now. It's a German. Like at least one German will be in the finals.
There you go.
And
Sven and I talked a lot beforehand, and he was skeptical of misdirection at first as well. But then I do this on Frozen Reclamation. I do this on Unearth. You don't resurrect your Shapeshifter. You resurrect the bird. And then he was, okay, leave it. It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
it. I did a little bit of testing and basically concluded that you have to brick 3 times in order for me to win.
Yeah. Best of 5 was really good for me as well because like I can't brick 5 games.
Yeah.
3 games, but But it was.
I was
awesome.
just hoping it gave me the odd. I was hoping to get 1 game, and it gave me more odds to get 1 game.
Yeah, when starting your Cabal Therapy chain and the first game, I was thinking, okay, now this is a line I don't predict, and now I'm in trouble because you disrupt my whole hand.
Yeah, something weird's happening.
Yeah. That was unexpected because your deck is awesome. It's just so great. Like you see lines that you didn't even see before. Please continue. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And shout out to Johannes Kammler who brewed it.
Yeah, cool guy as well. A German as well.
Yeah, another.
Awesome.
Were there any questions from the chat?
Yeah, right.
Just the one about that game 1 sequencing, I think, is what I had seen. Yeah, I'm just surprised at like the amount of mono blue Stiflenought and all of them advanced. So, I
mean, so I want to sing the praises of this. in the chat, there was like a debate going on during the finals of the PSS. I don't know if you watched that back, Mike, but basically a lot of people were saying like, how is it better than blue-black? You know, blue-black being the other one that plays most of the free spells and also has access to duress. And I don't know if I put it eloquently enough. The real point is the consistency. Like by having 16 or 17 islands to go with all of those free spells, not having to worry about not finding the black mana when you need it, not having to worry about really anything. Like your game plan, much like Sly, it's just so consistent where you're pretty much always going to be able to do your thing, and it's up to your opponent to deal with it.
I think a lot of people forget that in Premodern, the mana isn't great and card redundancy matters. So you get that with the mono blue version. You get card redundancy and you get consistency of mana.
Yes. Like even if it happens only in, let's say, 5 games, in 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10. But if you want to foil a game-winning card and you have a Polluted Delta or Underground River in your hand, I don't want to deal with that. I want to put the same game plan every time. And I really love mono blue. I love the stasis gameplay, and I think it's much more consistent than the blue black.
Yeah. Speaking of stasis gameplay, we did have a chat about the match that we had where you were winning counterspell battles against stasis.
Yeah.
And I think not a lot of decks get to do that, but the amount of free counter magic in that deck is just so powerful.
Yes. Even like you have the package, but you have still so much room for such good cards. Foil is awesome. You have counter spells, like you can even hardcast your counters. It's so fun.
Yeah,
but too bad. Like we have 3 mono blue Stiflenought now in the semifinals, so two have to play each other, and it's me and Sven. I don't want to play Sven because I want us both to, but all 4 players deserve a spot in the finals, I think.
All right.
Yeah, I think this deck is real, and the other funny thing about it is the meta will obviously shift now to beating this kind of Dreadnought, but it's not really that susceptible to a lot of the mono blue hate, because generally it'll attack the islands if there are a lot of islands in play, you know, like a card like Choke, Carpet of Flowers, Boil, that sort of thing. But this deck doesn't care about those.
Right.
No. No. That's right. But like I'm very excited for the other semis. Rich against Alvaro. Parfait versus Dreadnought. That's the game you need to watch, my friends. That will be awesome.
Yeah, gonna be very interesting to see how that plays out.
Specifically the mono blue version, since we know that Parfait has its struggles against counterspell.
Yeah.
So that'll be a really interesting one to watch. It's got the answers for the creatures, but it does struggle to deal with those counterspells. So it might be the best matchup there.
And Alvaro is brutal. He knows exactly what to counter.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will watch that. That will be so fun.
I'll be watching too.
Yeah, two fantastic players, just like this round, guys. This was really fun to watch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I couldn't delight the audience with going off and winning, because it's really cool when it happens. I swear.
Yeah.
You'll just have to top 8 the next tournament and then show us all that. So.
Well, there are the September monthly.
Okay.
I had 2 matches of that, so you can go back and watch them on Andrews.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Chad is asking when the semifinals are scheduled. I'll have to talk to the players and figure out a time that works for both the players and myself to broadcast it. So I'll keep you posted in some form of social media, Twitter or Facebook. I'll let everyone know when those get planned, but right now we're not sure.
Cool.
All right, players. Thanks for being here, and congratulations, Christopher, and good job, Mike, on getting this far. not the best showing, but I'm sure you'll be able to show it in another time. So
honestly, I really just wanted to make top 8 just to take the deck photo and because like this deck is so cool and I want people to pick it up and play it. I really wanted to advertise the deck more.
He wanted to get a photo out there with only 60 cards in the main.
Yeah.
Justified. So can I say though, that actually did end up being a good thing because I got the data points I needed as to what 2 cards to cut.
Yeah. That's what practice is for. Yeah, you got good practice and you figured it out for this tournament.
And in a survival deck, I mean, come on, does it really matter? You're just searching for things.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. Bye, Mike. And then Christopher will figure out a time that you can play against Sven, and we'll see you again then. Yes. So we will see you in the semifinals for the Mono Blue Stiflenought mirror. So
yeah. Thank you very much for hosting, Aaron. It's a pleasure having you as a co-commentator. I was very happy to see you joining our group.
Oh,
and thank you, Michael, for hosting it. Sure. I love it. It's great.
All right. We'll let players go, and Aaron and I will wrap things up. So
bye, Mike.
Bye. Yeah. So a quick 3-0 from the Stiflenought. It's been kind of brutal, I guess, seeing these Stiflenoughts. They're relentless in some ways, that they both apply a bunch of pressure and then also can put up some defense or stop what your opponent's trying to do if they're trying to do something powerful. So definitely has convinced me that this deck is a force to be reckoned with, and we'll see if the Parfait Oath deck can take it down. Because I guess if Rich finds a path to beat the Stiflenought, he knows he would play it in the finals. So we'll see with that, or if we'll just have Stiflenoughts everywhere for the coming future, and it's up to everybody else to figure out a way to beat them. So yeah, I want to thank Aaron for being here in the booth and providing some commentary. Had some fun.
Yeah, anytime.
Yep, enjoyed chat, hanging about and cheering everyone on. But I guess we'll wrap things up, and until next time, take care.
Thanks, everybody.